Right, now, so Pisces. As idealistic as Romans, often faced with dissolution, but embraces the withered, imperfect shadow side of humanity to be just as romantic as the light side. Pisces is empathy characterized. And there is a theme of isolation to Pisces. Despite being able to understand that everyone around them, Pisces natives tend to feel apart and isolated. Inside their individual human body, they are separate from the collective consciousness, and this keeps them with a constant feeling of being alienated. Pisces is the third and last water sign. Saying that Pisces is a water sign is the same as saying that it's feminine in its gender qualities. Known as the dreamer, ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, keywords that we can often characterize Pisces by are imagination, compassion, receptivity, intuition, telepathy, and generosity. Pisces has a tremendous ability to feel. It represents the dissolution of ego and the more subtle realms of Earth, the places where the soul wanders. They hold great sensibility for art, music, and every form of subtle expression of the soul. They have a great ability to synchronize with the extrasensory perception, meaning they're telepathic. They can feel and know things without having to be there, and or without having to have seen them for themselves. They spend a great amount of time in their imagination, and they're usually found oscillating between the real tangible world and the subtle dream world. They can sometimes look like they're aloof because of this. What happens really is that they're more in tune with the emotional and the vibe of it all than anything else. And they're also very often in a walking dream of being somewhere else. They might be somewhere else in their mind. They're being ruled by Jupiter. They don't put limits on themselves, and everything they touch turns to gold. They're lucky as can be. They have huge amounts of compassion and generosity. They're very receptive to the vibe in their environment, and they can listen to their loved ones from miles away. They can understand other people at a deep level very easily. When Pisces is vibing low, they need to give themselves structure. They need to give themselves goals to accomplish and a schedule to know when they should be doing what. It's not necessary for Pisces to follow this schedule exactly how they set them for themselves, because they might actually become very disillusioned if they're not giving their mind freedom to roam when it needs to, or their soul more than their mind. For example, if Pisces says that they're going to be working from 3 to 5 every day on their project, and one time they go to take a nap instead of working on the project. Pisces really needs to be gentle with themselves and let themselves take that nap. One of the things that really characterizes Pisces is dreams and the dream world, and they should not think that just because they're dreaming all day they're lazy. They should actually embrace that and see what their dreams are trying to tell them. So whenever they do set themselves a structure and they are disciplined with themselves, they need to remember to give themselves time to dream and to be artsy and to let their soul roam. But just the simple fact of setting guidelines and the goals for themselves and like knowing that they can accomplish them is going to give Pisces the security they need to feel good with themselves. A practical exercise that is highly recommended for grounding is walking barefoot on grass or soil. Going to the woods and walking barefoot, or a park that's very natural and clean, it would be very beneficial. Yeah, so they bring themselves back to earth. Grounding and getting their material world in order gives Pisces the safety they need in order to let their dreams fly without feeling paranoid or getting depressed because they feel that they're not accomplishing what they need to do. The personality of Pisces is characterized by imagination. They show compassion towards people who surround them. They are very receptive and utilize their intuition to make decisions. They make heart-based decisions, which is beautiful. They can develop their telepathy abilities very easily. And they're characterized, again, by generosity. Whenever they show up to work or whatever they're going to do, they do it with energy. So getting them to show up is one thing, but once they've showed up, they're going to show up with all the energy in the world, and they're going to motivate people, and they're going to know what they're doing, and they're going to move with such ease and poise that's just beautiful to watch. And because of this high amount of energy that they put into everything they do, and the way that they understand people around them, they naturally gravitate towards positions of leadership. Now, mind you, a Pisces is not always going to want that position of leadership. Sometimes they don't want to be the boss. Most times they don't want to be the boss. It's a lot of responsibility. But the way in which they just understand the people around them, the hierarchy in whatever organization they're a part of, and the way they help people with just a few words. Sometimes they don't have to move. They'll just say the right thing and people will move for them. That's what gets them to be the boss, accidentally. And they're stubborn. I'll say that. I mean, they're my favorite and I love them, but they're stubborn. Once they hold an opinion, they're gonna hold that opinion and they're gonna keep that opinion, and they're not gonna change their mind very easily. You're gonna have to prove that with the scientific method and have like published articles by verified sources. And maybe then still Pisces will not change their mind. And they develop self-esteem when they can put everything in order. So when Pisces has done those little like material terrestrial things that people should do, so like cut their hair or like wash the car, give the dog a bath, clean the windows, like all these things that Pisces wouldn't really do for themselves, but they do it because they know they're supposed to, and it doesn't come natural to them. Like they have to strive. They have to be like, today I'm gonna do this. And they're probably going to forget a couple times, the first few times. And they're going to be like mad at themselves because they didn't remember to clean the windows. But like, who really cares about the windows, right? But they need to, like, once they manage to get there and clean the windows, they feel so proud of themselves. And when they do these things that are so like earthly, right? Like having clean windows or keeping everything in order, like color coding the closet or something like this, then Pisces is super proud of themselves. Very proud of themselves. And doing stuff like this, they don't expect it from other people. Like if they go to someone's house and their windows are not clean, they're not going to judge them. Like they're going to feel comfortable there because they know that it's okay if they don't have their windows clean. But they're not, but in their house, they really want to strive for it. So they're going to put themselves at a higher standard than they put other people. And this is like, again, like reminding Pisces, like, chill, you're great. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. But Pisces really strives for that perfection. Does not, again, I'm going to repeat this, does not judge others for not being perfect, but will want to be perfect themselves because they feel that they will be accepted as part of the whole. And because they have this like everlasting feeling of being isolated because they're in their human bodies far away from soul source, then when they do the things that society wants people to do, which is like usually we want a lot of people want to stay away from society, what society wants us to do, because we realize that sometimes that's just like to keep order in a superficial kind of way. But Pisces will strive because of their need to fit in and feel part of the whole. They will strive to make those things that society wants us to do, like clean the car, clean the windows and all. It's like to the extra amount, right? Like not just like the regular hygiene, but have it like above and beyond. It's good for their self-esteem, so we should encourage them to do it. Now, their ego is really happy when they have their house in order and they can express themselves in their house. They need to talk in their house. So like they're the people in home who are gonna notice if there's an elephant in the room. They don't care like that much about how, like, if somebody didn't take out the trash, it's like whatever. Like they're not gonna necessarily talk about that, but if they notice that somebody's sad and if the vibe is off, like they're gonna talk about it. They're gonna like, why are we sad? What do we need to do differently so we're not sad anymore? Or if somebody's very happy, they're also gonna notice that and they're gonna be like, I love that you're happy. Like, let's keep it up. And they need to they really need to communicate. They feel emotionally like understood when there's communication in their house, when they can talk about what they're feeling, when they can put their feelings into words and concepts and express them with somebody they trust. Their subconscious mind is very logical. That's why they want to put their feelings into words. They want to be able to give it a name. They want to be able to know what's going on and how it works. So they want to logically understand all these big feelings they feel all the time. And it's really big because they're so empathetic that they're just picking up on energy wherever they go. So actually knowing what's happening is really good for them. Like a Pisces that has no idea that they're a sponge and they're just walking into places that have really high dense energy and then like going home and sleeping and getting and like processing all that energy as part of themselves is not as easygoing as a Pisces who knows that they're a sponge, an energy sponge, makes an energy barrier whenever they're gonna go into somewhere that has dense frequency, and even like might go as far as like washing themselves with salt, or at least telepathically cleaning the vibe away. And in order to obtain balance in their relationships, they do need structure and to get practical. If you want to know more about Pisces, just message me. I'm going to finish this video right now. But yeah, there's a lot we can talk about Pisces. They're deep, deep, deep personalities. They're the last personality of the zodiac, which is another reason why they're so empathetic. They have already learned the lessons of every other sign. They're the last one. They're the whole, it's like when the soul goes back to the source, when like what was something unique, the ego dissolves into the soul. It turns into everything. That's why they're so empathetic, and that's why they know so much about the full spectrum of human emotions. That's why they're not afraid to talk about the shadow, and they really understand the need to communicate. That's also why they want to hold on and cling to people, because people will be like an anchor for them and give them structure and a sense that they have some like somewhere to stand up on. And all right, thank you. And if you need anything like a blog post or a natal chart read, or I don't know, just to talk about energy sometimes, my links are in the description below.